Today we will be looking at the different question and answers that is already given in your book. Okay, and these are the question and answers that is present inside the chapter. These are not the question and answers from exercise. Okay, so let's start today's video. Okay, so the first question, the first set of questions. So we will be discussing one by one each of the three questions. Okay, so the first question is, why should magnesium ribbon be cleaned before burning in air? So magnesium ribbon should be cleaned before burning because the magnesium ribbon, it is pure magnesium metal. Okay, so it contains pure magnesium metal. And if you look at the reactivity series that I have already given you in one of my previous class, so magnesium, you will see that it is at the top, means you will see it will be at the top portion of the reactivity series, that is, it is one of the reactive metal, so it is very reactive. Okay, so magnesium will easily react with the oxygen which is present in air. So when it will react with oxygen, it will give magnesium oxide. So this magnesium oxide will be present as a white layer in the surface of the magnesium metal. So therefore when you will see the magnesium ribbon, you will see that there is something white layer on the surface. Okay, and that white layer is of magnesium oxide. So since this magnesium oxide means it has already reacted with oxygen, so again if you will burn this magnesium ribbon, you will see that due to the formation of already it has formed magnesium oxide, so again it will be very slow to react with oxygen. Okay, so that means the burning process will be very slow because the magnesium which is present in the surface, it has already reacted with oxygen to form magnesium oxide. Okay, so therefore this layer of magnesium oxide will not allow the magnesium ribbon to burn effectively. That means the magnesium will react very slowly, and you will see that the magnesium at the surface, it will not react at all with the oxygen. So therefore it is very important to clean this ribbon, because then what you will do, you will remove this magnesium oxide which is present at the surface. So once this magnesium oxide will be removed, now the magnesium metal can easily react with the oxygen in the air, and therefore the burning will be quick. Because in burning what we do, you mix this anything that you burn, you allow this thing to react with the oxygen which is present in air at a higher temperature. Okay, again another reason why you should clean the magnesium ribbon, because other than magnesium oxide, other impurities might also be present at the surface of the magnesium ribbon. So when you will burn the magnesium ribbon, you will get magnesium oxide, and you want to get pure magnesium oxide. But if there will be impurity on the surface, the magnesium oxide that you will get, will also be impure. Okay, so that is another reason why we have to clean the magnesium ribbon before burning. So now other question. So in this question what it is given, we are given three chemical reactions and simply we have to balance them. The first one is very easy. Hydrogen and chlorine, both are diatomic molecules, that is they will never exist as single hydrogen or single chlorine. So they will exist as diatomic molecule, that is H2 and Cl2, and they will react to give hydrogen chloride. Okay, and we already know that hydrogen H2 is a gas, Cl2 is also a gas, and hydrogen chloride will also exist as gaseous form. And when we balance it, we need 2 here to balance the chemical equation. So now we have 2 hydrogen, here also 2 hydrogen, 2 chlorine, and also 2 chlorine, so the reaction is balanced. So next is barium chloride. Okay, so here BaCl2, barium chloride means BaCl2, aluminium sulfate means Al2SO4 whole 3, and BaSO4, this is barium sulfate, will always exist as precipitate, therefore it is downwards arrow, and aluminium chloride. Okay, and we will balance it. After balancing, we will get this balanced reaction. Okay, now sodium with water, and sodium reacts very vigorously with water. That means when you put sodium in water, you will see there is an explosion. Okay, so therefore never do this reaction in absence of your teachers. Okay, and never use a large amount of sodium. Okay, always use very small amount of sodium if you want to perform this reaction. Okay, and I advise that in absence of your teacher never do this reaction. Okay, and it is better if the teachers help in doing this reaction. Okay, so reference, sodium is a metal, so it will exist as metal, and metal always exists as solid form. Okay, so you will see that it will react with water, which is a liquid. So the sodium will exist as solid, water is liquid, and the sodium hydroxide is a base, so it is always exist as aqueous form, and we will get hydrogen gas. So it is gaseous. Simple. So the next set of question. Now here also we have to write the balanced chemical equation of the following conditions. These are the following reactions, and we have to mention the state symbols. That means we have to mention the physical state. In the first question we see that solution of barium chloride and sodium sulfate is reacting to give insoluble barium sulfate and solution of sodium chloride. So answer of this is already present, and this is already discussed as an example of your double displacement reaction in the book. Yes, so this is the equation. That means sodium sulfate, which is present as a solution in water, therefore it is in aqueous state. Barium chloride also present as a solution in water, so it will be also present in aqueous state. Barium sulfate is insoluble and it forms a precipitate, white precipitate, we have already seen. And sodium chloride, it will also be in solution, therefore in aqueous state. The second one is sodium hydroxide solution in water is reacting with hydrochloric acid solution in water to produce sodium chloride and water. So this reaction you have already learned, I think, in class 7 or even in lower standards than 7. So this is a neutralization reaction. Okay, so very easy, most common neutralization reaction that you will see, and we will see that I have already told that bases and acid always exist in aqueous state, and sodium chloride will also present in solution, therefore in aqueous state, and water always liquid. Okay, so very easy questions. Now the next set of questions. So here what is asked, that a solution of substance X is used for whitewashing. So for whitewashing we use calcium hydroxide, but calcium hydroxide you cannot get directly. So for whitewashing what do you need? We need calcium oxide. So calcium oxide is the substance that we use for whitewashing. So while whitewashing, what we do? We dissolve this calcium oxide in water, where it will react with water to give calcium hydroxide or slaked lime. So here the substance X will be calcium oxide, which is also known as quicklime, and its formula is CaO. Clear? And the second, we need the reaction. In the second question, we need the reaction with water. So this reaction I have already discussed while discussing the combination reaction. That is here quicklime, that is calcium oxide, is reacting with water to give calcium hydroxide, and heat is also produced. So therefore this reaction is also a good example of exothermic reaction, because heat is produced. Okay, and what was exothermic reaction? Exothermic reactions are the reactions where energy is produced. Okay, so this is a good example of exothermic reactions also. Now this one is an important question, and I think most of you have doubt in activity 1.7. So in activity 1.7, what we are doing, first we are taking a good amount of water in any vessel, then we are putting two types of rod. Okay, so here we are using graphite rod, and each of the rod is connected to a battery. The rod which is connected to the positive end is known as anode. The rod which is connected to the negative end is known as cathode. So the cathode has negative charge, anode has positive charge. Okay, very clear up to now. Now what happens, when you will pass the current through this rod, or pass electricity through this rod, what will happen? This electricity will break down water. That means this water molecule will break down to hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. Okay, so this process, that is using electricity to break down water into hydrogen and oxygen, is known as electrolysis of water. Okay, so this is what the process is. Here we are doing electrolysis of water. That means we are using electricity to break down water into hydrogen and oxygen. So you will observe that oxygen will be produced at the anode and hydrogen will be produced at the cathode. And since from the reaction we can see that 2 molecules of water, that is giving us 2 molecules of hydrogen and 2 molecules of oxygen. So the amount of hydrogen gas produced
will be double than the amount of oxygen gas. Okay, so therefore you will see that the test tube which is above the cathode will have more amount of gas, which is double the amount of the gas which is present over the anode. Okay, so I have written the answer here, that is during electrolysis of water is broken down to hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. And now from the balanced chemical equation we see that amount of hydrogen gas produced at cathode is double the amount of oxygen produced at anode. Okay, so this is what is explained in your activity 1.7. okay, so if anyone have doubt or was having doubt in this activity, I think their doubt will also be clear after listening this explanation. Okay, so if you have any problem you can still ask me about this. Okay, so now the next questions, that is why does color of copper sulfate solution change when an iron nail is dipped? So what happens when an iron nail is dipped in the copper sulfate solution? We will see that there will be a decomposition reaction, displacement reaction. And displacement reaction, what we will see that during the displacement reaction iron will displace the copper from copper sulfate solution, and we know copper sulfate solution is blue in color and iron is more reactive. And how we know which is more reactive, which is less reactive? We can know it from the metals reactivity series, okay, or the reactivity series of metal. From there we will find that iron is more reactive than copper, so therefore iron will displace copper from the copper sulfate solution, and after displacing it iron will form a compound with the sulfate ions and it will form iron sulfate, and that iron sulfate is green in color. Okay, so therefore we will observe that the color of the solution changes from blue to green. Okay, now the next question, it is given example of double displacement reaction which is not already given in the book or in activity 1.10. okay, so a popular or well-known reaction is this which I have written over here, that is silver nitrate. It reacts with potassium chloride to give silver chloride and potassium nitrate. So one more thing here, we will see that silver chloride is a white precipitate, it will be formed as a white precipitate. Okay, so its physical state will not be aqueous, it will be solid. So this is a common typing mistake. So remember, whenever you note it down you will see that I have written AgCl in bracket, I have written aqueous, AQ, but this will not be aqueous, it will be solid. Okay, so make the correction whenever you are writing a note or whenever you are writing this reaction. Silver chloride, that is AgCl, will always be in its solid state because it exists as a white precipitate. Okay, so this reaction is an example of double displacement reaction. Okay, so here what we will see that potassium and silver, these ions are exchanging their original position. Okay, so I think this is the last question of the sets of questions which is present or given in the chapter. Okay, so here we have to identify which is oxidized and which substance is reduced. So before that we have to see which one is the oxidation process and which one is the reduction process. So in this you see that sodium is oxidized, so sodium oxide, yes, so this is an oxidation process. And the reduction process is here oxygen, it contain the oxygen molecule, it had 2 oxygen atoms, yes, but now you see in sodium oxide there is only 1 oxygen atom, that means oxygen is reduced. The oxygen gas, that is O2, is losing 1 oxygen atom, and losing 1 oxygen atom is reduction. Okay, so sodium is oxidized and oxygen is reduced. Okay, but one more thing I am to discuss here is the oxidizing agent and reducing agent. Okay, so sometimes questions about oxidizing agent and reducing agent also appears in the board exam. Okay, although it is not given in your book. So what we will see that what is oxidizing agent, you will see yes, sodium is oxidized, yes, but in presence of what sodium is oxidized? Who is responsible for oxidation of sodium? Oxygen is responsible for the oxidation of sodium, because only when oxygen is present sodium is oxidized. Okay, so here there will be no oxygen, then you will see sodium will remain as sodium, so it means sodium will not get oxidized. So that means oxygen gas, that is O2, is responsible for the oxidation of sodium. So therefore in this reaction, oxygen, that is O2, is the oxidizing agent. And similarly you see that oxygen is reduced in this reaction, and who is responsible for the reduction of oxygen? Sodium is responsible, because only in presence of sodium in this reaction oxygen is reduced. Okay, so that means sodium is causing the reduction of oxygen. So that means sodium is responsible for reduction of oxygen. Therefore we will say that sodium is the reducing agent. Okay, so similarly in question number 2 you see here, this is a reaction that we have already discussed while discussing the oxidation and reduction reaction. So here you see copper oxide is added to hydrogen gas, or hydrogen gas is added to copper oxide, and then it is heated to get metallic copper, that is copper solid, which is the physical state of that is solid, and water liquid. So here what happens, copper oxide, that means CuO, it already contains one oxygen atom, but you see in the product side, the copper, it has no oxygen atom in it. Okay, so that means copper oxide is reduced. Okay, and hydrogen, earlier it was hydrogen gas, now this hydrogen gas receives or gains one oxygen atom to give water, so that means hydrogen gas is oxidized. Okay, and similarly here, what is the oxidizing agent? The oxidizing agent is copper oxide, because copper oxide, in presence of copper oxide, hydrogen is oxidized to water, so that means copper oxide is responsible for oxidation of hydrogen. So therefore copper oxide is the oxidizing agent. So similarly hydrogen is the reducing agent, because hydrogen is responsible for the reduction of copper oxides to copper. Okay, so very simple concept, only you have to know which one is responsible for oxidation, which one is responsible for reduction, so that from that you can see which one is the oxidizing agent, which one is the reducing agent. Okay, so this is an important question, concept, because sometimes 1 mark or 2 mark questions come from oxidizing agent and reducing agent also. Okay, so if you look at the previous papers, you will see sometimes questions about oxidizing and reducing agent. So only that much you have to know about oxidizing and reducing agent. Okay, so this is all from the question which is present in the chapter. In my next video I will be discussing about the question and questions that is given in the exercises. Okay, I will be discussing their answers also. Okay, and before ending the video, I want to make again the same request, that after this question answer session, videos related to the question answers end, I will be making videos related to the questions from this chapter which are already asked in board exam of different years. Okay, so to get the notification of those videos, so please subscribe my channel. I think you have already seen the name of the channel at the beginning of this video itself, so please subscribe so that you can get the proper notification. Also, again, I am also planning to make some videos on the important question answers and important concepts related to physics. Okay, so those video also I will be posting in my channel, so that you can get the notification if you are subscribing the channel. Okay, so thank you.